Max, so it's sort of in the middle, so you get to dinner nice and soon. And it's afterwards I'm at a little short question and answer session, so I can get some opinions on this. So without further ado, I guess we'll start. And lights.
Sit tight, buddy. We have a long ride. All right, let's go. Poetry. Idiots. Fucking street. Morning, Max.
It's too early.
Oh. Okay.
I'm sorry, it's just too early for that. And it's not even morning yet.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
It's 5 o'clock, Max. That's still morning.
It's 5:07 actually, and while it might technically be morning, it's still too early to be a good morning.
Whatever you say.
So, where are we going?
Wallace Elementary.
Is that the school with the chubby kids?
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you do. Remember that study last year? The one that rated the fattest schools in America?
Well,
And we went there last year, and you looked down at the kids, and you leaned over to me and said, "Yeah, this is the school."
no.
Come on, remember all the little guys bothering them around.
It's not funny, Max.
Oh, yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
It's not my fault they're fat. It's good old Max Magnum's fault.
You can't say that.
This is America. I can say what I want. Did you know that Magnum X has the same ingredients as rocket fuel? I read it online. This is rocket fuel. Hazardous waste. In this can, in this bottle, 200 calories and 500 grams of caffeine mixed to create the perfect drug. That's what it is. A drug that we just give our children.
Just because you read something on Wikipedia doesn't mean
I did not read it on Wikipedia. I read it on the side of the bottle. It's all right there. The government makes them show how awful their drink is, and everyone gulps it down anyway. But hey, guess that's just life.
And you really can't talk like that.
About Magnum X.
Yeah, about Magnum X. Have some loyalty.
Why?
Because they've given you a job, a paycheck.
They've given me enough to keep me dancing in that suit. They pay me for my services, not my loyalty.
Just saying.
I know what you're saying, but remember that you're not the one in the suit. You get to dress nice and give a little slide show and stuff. I just stand there and sweat.
Whatever. I just think that we should have a little respect for the hand that feeds us.
Feed you. If I wasn't working 2 jobs, I'd starve. I hate Wallace.
What?
Last time I went there, I hated it.
Why?
It was the longest hour of my life. You know, usually after a couple of minutes or so, the kids start listening, or at least they stop screaming at each other. But those kids didn't. They kept on the whole time. Gave me the worst headache.
I think you're confused. That was a different school.
Was it?
Yeah. I thought Wallace was a great stop. Definitely one of the best that we've had.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the right place.
No, the Wallace kids listen.
Oh yeah! You like Wallace because that one kid came up to you and told you that you changed his life. Yeah! And you spent the whole ride home telling me how amazing it was.
His name was Mark.
Yeah. Well, I guess Mark was listening. The rest of them weren't.
Yes, they were.
Remember you looking at me after you finished your speech? You told me that was the hardest one all year, and I agreed. Then that chubby Mark kid walked up, and suddenly it was the best day of your life.
There were others besides Mark.
There were others.
Yeah, there were about 3 others.
And that's sad.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is. If your success rate is 4 out of 300, that's sad.
I've had kids talk to me at other schools. Those were just a lot more sincere.
It's because they're fat. Makes them emotional. Anyway, what do you do after you talk with these kids anyway?
I give them my email and tell them that they can write me anytime.
And how many have written you?
What?
How many kids from last year have written you?
I don't know. 3 or 4.
So, out of 6,000 or so kids we've spoken to, and 50-something that have walked up and talked to you personally, only 3 have written you back.
Well, we do speak to elementary schools.
That's right. More competition.
Competition?
Think about it. Elementary is when you find out all the things you shouldn't do. Those kids get a lot of anti-drug message from legitimate acronyms.
What do you mean by legitimate?
Come on, guys. We're representatives of Magnum X Energy Drink. The only reason we have this job is because the asshats in the advertisement department thought it would be a good idea to make Max over here a pothead. Remember that commercial where he was,
Sniffing cocaine? Okay, look, that wasn't even shown on the screen.
It was strongly implied. Face it, our job was created to save face for those Magnum idiots. We're...
Shut up! What is with you this morning? Okay, I get it. We're just pawns of the Magnum guys, or the man, or whatever you want to call him. Frankly, I don't care. I'm here to talk to kids about drugs. Maybe it's all useless, and maybe I'm not making a difference, but I'm doing my best. Okay?
Sorry, it's just Coach's Day could have been our day off.
Why?
Well, it's my birthday. This isn't how I imagine spending my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Why didn't you just call in sick or something?
What? And lose a day of pay? Got student loans, Dennis.
So do I.
But you went to school for this. It's different.
I have loans and a life too. This isn't my dream job.
No, but it's close to it. After a few years of doing this, you'll work your way up. What am I going to do?
I don't know.
Yeah? Well, neither do I. Look at that sunrise.
Yeah. It's a good one.
No matter how many times you look at it, the sunrise never gets old. You remember that scene in that one movie? You know the sunrise and the guy screaming all that African stuff? I saw that movie when I was a kid and I was like, that's what I want to do.
What?
Paint the sunrise.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I went to college to do. Create my own sunrise. That's what I was known for. I was the sunrise guy. You other people would look at my paintings and say, wow, that's great. And I would do the same for theirs. Our professors acted like we all had a chance in the real world while picking the favorites. Those were the best years of my life.
Well, what happened?
What do you think happened? I graduated, took one step out into the real world, and realized I was unprepared. All I did in college was paint. So my grades were awful, and I wasn't one of the most talented students. I went through 4 years of college doing one thing that I wasn't even good at. I had to love. I love painting. I'm not good at it. I mean, I'm okay. I could teach a class or whatever.
Well, why don't you?
I don't know what.
Teach a class.
Because I'm too proud. My professor said the same thing. I'm not going into teaching. I said no. They tried, I guess. That was their way of saying, you're not talented enough to make a living painting sunrises. But I thought I knew best. And part of me still hopes someone in the art world would chance upon one of my pieces and say, you guys are genius. If I started teaching, it would just prove them right. I can't handle that.
I see.
Now I'm stuck dancing around in a furry suit and working the evening shift at a gas station. And there goes the sunrise. It's your turn. It's your college sob story.
I don't have one. I went to college to talk to people. After 4 years, I got married and applied for this job.
Well, that's boring.
What can I say? It's my life.
Didn't know you were married.
Her name is Laura.
How did you guys meet? Come on.
We met at church.
Oh,
Was that too boring for you?
no, it's exactly what I expected. What does your wife do?
Meet her job?
Yeah.
She's a nurse.
That's funny. So my girlfriend's going to be eventually. Any tips?
Tips for marrying a nurse? No, not really. I'd just be prepared for her to make a lot more than you. A lot. It'll make your relationship a little strange at first. You'll think you're supposed to be the breadwinner, so accepting her money will feel a little strange at first. It'll make you feel inferior. It's just something you're gonna have to get over, though. The little nuclear family is a thing of the past.
Well, as long as one of us is making some kind of money, I care less.
The spirit, you just have to. Whoa.
Looks like a wreck.
Pretty bad one, too.
How long ago do you think it happened?
I'm not sure, it looked pretty recent.
How can you tell?
Look at how slow the cars around you go.
What do you mean?
People are sick like that. If the wreck is old, people just give it a quick glance, but if it's fresh, like the rest of them. I slow down too. I don't like it. It ruins my day. I mean, I keep wondering if anyone's hurt, then I start wondering what I would do if I was in an accident, and then I start asking myself if I'm ready to die. It's no fun.
I know this is a weird question, but are you ready to die?
Well, no. Who is? But hey, I guess if I knew my family would be okay and there was no way to avoid it, I think I'd be ready.
Really?
Yeah, I'm doing what I love. I'm young. I'm in good health.
That's shitty logic, man. Why would you want to die when things are going great?
I already told you I don't want to die. I'm just saying that if it happened, I wouldn't be too upset because I don't know. I'd rather go out on a high.
Your life right now is a high.
Yeah,
This job is what you love.
yeah.
How? How is talking to a bunch of brats your dream job?
Because I used to be one of them. I used to listen to those guys talking about drugs and addiction and think, well, that'll never happen to me. 5 years later, I was homeless and overdosed 3 times. I would lay down at night and dream of a second chance. So when I put my life back together, I wanted to help kids make better decisions than I did.
So you're one of those guys.
What guys?
I remember, you sit around and let your past control who you are.
That's not true.
Isn't it? You run around talking to kids because of who you were, not who you are.
Well, what about you, Mr. Sunrise?
Oh, wait. I never said I wasn't living in the past. I admit it. I'm so stuck in the past, I might as well have no future.
That's heavy.
I mean, really, what's all this for? All my life, everyone kept telling me to follow my dreams, but nobody ever told me what to do when I sucked at my dream.
Max, life will never work out the way you want it to. You can't fight all the time. You just have to accept it and move on. Find a new dream.
I don't want a new dream.
Then you'll never be happy. If this was the only job I could get, so once I was hired, I made this job my dream. Now I'm happy.
It doesn't sound like happiness. It sounds like you're fooling yourself.
I am, but even if I'm pretending, I'm still happier than you are.
You're happy at work. I'm happy at home.
I'm happy all the time. We're getting close.
To the school.
Yeah.
Are we in town?
Yeah.
Do you want breakfast?
I ate before I left the house.
Yeah. I guess I'm not that hungry.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'll stop if you really want to.
No, it's okay.
Really? I'll stop if you need me to.
Can't afford breakfast anyway. My girlfriend isn't a nurse yet.
I can always.
You're not paying for my breakfast. I'm not that desperate.
Well, my wife is a nurse.
Really? I'm okay.
Okay, I mean, we're in town.
Dennis!
There's a place right there.
I was thinking more of you. I don't really eat breakfast in the morning anyway.
Well, you've lost your chance. School's coming up on the left.
Wallace Elementary, home of the Fighting Fowl. The Fighting Fowl.
My son plays a soccer team.
What kind of name is the Fighting Fowl?
Yeah, they aren't very good.
You know what's funny?
What?
This is the most we've ever talked. Out of all the mornings we've written together, this is the most we've talked.
Yeah. It's fun. And the school wants you to tour the classes before our presentation. So you better put on your suit.
Great. Say, when does school start?
It already has. Why?
Should I go change inside somewhere?
Why?
I don't want the kids seeing me put on a suit.
But you don't want to ruin the magic for them?
No, just don't want them to see me.
You never see any of them in your life. Does it really matter?
Yes. Yes, it does. I always hated Max Magny.
Why?
That was my nickname in high school.
You know what my nickname was?
What?
Shrimp Dick.
I think yours is worse. Come on, let's go.
I forgot that you were speaking.
My leg is really asleep.
What's wrong with you, Jay?
My legs want to sleep. I sat on weird way.
Alright. So, guys. So this is fun because I actually wrote this, so you can ask whatever questions you want. So, anybody have anything that outstanding in their minds they want to ask?
How long have these two worked together?
I was thinking whenever they did, they've been working together. This is like the second year they've worked together.
Second year?
Yeah.
How often though do they do this job? Is it like a daily thing or?
I imagine it's like a twice a week kind of thing.
Okay.
They just really don't communicate.
Well, if it's set up to be like a second year, I feel like some of this information may have already been learned.
Yeah, like he knows he's married enough like that, but I can see what you think that.
Sorry. So what is it about today that's different that is making this conversation happen for the first time?
Well, the thing I was imagining is that it's his birthday, and what I think is last year he didn't work on his birthday, and this year he has to. So my idea was in the first scene whenever he says good morning to him is that he's never actually had him respond to him when he says good morning. So it's been like good morning and then quiet, right? 'Cause it is 5 in the morning.
I think you need to extend this. I feel like I'm learning the backstory of two characters, but I don't really see them live in the present.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think this may be like a part of something a lot bigger. I really like this idea of like the drug guy with the rebellious adult who like didn't really get to do what he wanted to do.
What was it that made you write this? What was the thing that you were like, I need to write this?
I was legitimately like sitting at home on my grandparents' couch in Funiac Springs, Florida, and I was bored out of my mind, and I went, and I don't know, it just sort of popped into my head randomly, and I ran with it.
So what does it mean to you? What does the play say to you?
I like the idea. I like the idea of two people who work in really mundane jobs. I like the idea of it's about optimism versus pessimism a little bit in my head, and about the idea of how you look at life is how you live life.
I think that's a really important message, but I will say that I feel like the optimistic character has a little bit more reason to be optimistic. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it is true. Usually, when people are optimistic, they have a better go at it than the pessimistic one.
Right, but if you want to share that message, maybe it's better to put them on like an equal playing field or something.
Well, it's interesting that that the character who has it all together is the one. See, to me, the physical thing that's going on here that is sort of only spoken about really once with the drink and then once with his past is the idea of drugs. You've got a big sign that says "Say no to drugs," and they're going to give a drug speech to a bunch of little kids. How does the idea of drugs play out in multiple ways in the show? Like you could take that idea of addiction and run with it and see it come to light in a bunch of different ways. I like that it's his past that is sort of bound, or that he got to the place where he is through his addiction, not the other characters. So I think it is sort of interesting the way that it's set up. But I want to see more of the opportunities that you have by sort of the premise, which is so great. Like, why don't we see the guy in the costume?
Yeah, well, one reason is if you look at it,
It's broken.
I can't get like a full
Yeah, but
costume
it's not.
made, but
It's
yeah, I
not
know
about the things
I know
that
what
you
you
have
mean.
available for this. It's like that's the fun part. Like, we want to see him in the costume. What are some other things?
Actually,
Like, what-
throughout working on it, I did see ways that I could draw it out longer, change it up in different ways. So this is probably
I felt like this conversation that happened perhaps went on a bit much. Like this, if this is the play, I don't think there's enough there. Yeah.
Like, where's the conflict? Like, what's the conflict, and what do these characters actually want? Are they actually trying to get something, or is this just a conversation? You know what I'm saying?
I'll be honest, when I wrote this, it was just a conversation.
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
two
It was
people
like
having
it
a
was like,
conversation.
I imagine this being kind of like a slice of life as two dudes in a van.
There's nothing wrong with two people having a conversation, but it is certainly it's a different kind of thing and a different kind of expectation. And you have opportunities with even just the few props that you've got there to have more conflict, more surprising things, more places for us to sit up and go, oh wow, you know.
Yeah.
Like even the theatricality of standing in front of a bunch of little kids and telling them not to do drugs. Like, I want to see that.
Yeah, I was waiting on that to happen.
Yeah, I want to see kids do drugs.
That's not what I said.
I love them trapped in the van though.
Yeah.
I like
You
that
know,
idea
because
too.
their stuff gotta come out because they're trapped.
But I want to see a present story. I want to see what's going on now. I don't want to hear them talk about their past the whole time.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
part
I
of the
mean?
reason they talk about their past the whole time is that they're both kind of bound by their past. That two people who are definitely bound by yesterday rather than today. That they think more. Both of them probably think more about what was before rather than what they're doing right now, because what they're doing right now is insanely boring.
And I also want to know why these questions weren't answered in the past 2 years that they worked together.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
valid.
Something that, like, I don't know if this maybe it didn't bother me, it's just something I noticed was, because I mean, with any play, like directing it, you know, it needs to be real within the given circumstances, and I think the given circumstances for this particular play were a little more of a heightened reality, just because, to me at least, it just felt so somber the whole time. And I know it was just a staged reading,
Yeah.
but I wanted them to like just be more over the top. I don't
The
know.
somberness didn't bother me because it was early morning and they were on their way to a
Or
job.
maybe I just wanted. I think
It was
maybe-
very quiet.
Yeah, maybe what I wanted to see was more of like a contrast, like if Christian was just like this fiery morning person. He's like, how are you? Because
I liked how Christian played the character.
I enjoyed it. I don't know. I would love to see more. That's just
Yeah, I can
more
see-
is good. More
I
is
can
good.
see-
You're so good at making little ideas. You just need to expand
Yeah, I
them.
hope you're not through with this.
Yeah.
No, actually, he brought up a really good idea recently of putting it on a subway, and I've been thinking of that a lot. I don't know. I've been thinking of ways to pull it out. Maybe make it a second time when they're coming home. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. The car is fine. The
I
car
love
is
that it's
totally
The
And-
yeah, the van screen thing.
yeah, and you can see it, but it's not about like opening up the world in which they're having this conversation in. It's about Lacey hit the nail on the head. It's all of the information is in the past, and that's great. You can have a play where there's a lot of exposition and things that are being discovered along the way, but you can't forget that it's a play.
Yeah.
It's a play, and a play has to be in the present. You know, the play is not happening in the past. The play is what's happening right now. So, you know, even if you want to go away and have something happen over here, and then something else happens over here, and then they keep coming back to the van, that's a possibility too. What is at stake now, right now?
I think I was projecting my own circumstances onto particularly Christian's character, because if in it goes back to the same thing that everybody's saying about conflict and present action and all that, and the purpose, and what Shelby asked was, why is this a drama-worthy moment? It's not just any morning, there's something about this
Right.
morning. And I agree that his birthday could be the thing that makes it different, but then why was I, as an audience member, projecting a lit fuse on Christian? You know what I mean? if there is a fuse that has been lit so that something is burning and it's gonna explode later, what lit the fuse and what's gonna explode?
What are the stakes?
Right here in front of us. And I was making it be Christian and then nothing really happened. So I don't know if that was just the way I was perceiving it or the way he was playing it as an actor, but I felt like something was gonna come out in this van, something bigger. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
they're
But-
late. Maybe they're running late.
But as you're writing it, don't forget that the stakes, while you could have the stakes really attached to either character, you know, if Christian is about to go through a divorce or whatever, and he's,
Yeah.
you know, if
I
that's,
can see how it would add things.
I'm not playing in suggestion land. That
Yeah.
should not be, you know, what where your head is at. But if there was something that he's bringing to the car, don't forget that whatever those stakes are, they have to be between these two characters. Because I don't care, like, that's great and well and good. He's got this exposition, this stuff that's going on with his wife. But why do I care? Because the only people I'm seeing and how they're affected are these two people. So, you know, and this is really far in suggestion land and totally a bad idea, and you should not write this play. But he's coming in with with his divorce that's on the horizon, and then that leads him to point a gun. Like, this is totally a bad idea,
Yeah.
but point a gun at this guy or whatever it is. So how do you make the stakes in the moment between these two people?
I do agree there has to be something it builds to that's bigger than what it does. I can see that.
Can I give a style thing, not like a plot thing?
Yeah.
You revealed a lot of exposition with questions. I think it would like clarify the relationship a little bit if they were statements instead. Like, instead of "you're married," it's what's her name? I don't remember.
And the wife.
Yeah, how's your
Yeah.
wife? How's
Susie.
I remember you telling me that you went to this for college. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, there was just a lot of questions to like clarify the exposition, and I think that their relationship could get a little bit closer if it were like, you know.
They also had a really, really civil conversation. Like, there was, like, they agreed and understood each other almost
Right.
immediately every time.
Yes.
Like, there was no, like, I completely disagree with that point, and I'm gonna have to debate until you agree with me. Like, it was like, no, I get where you're coming from.
I want this conversation cut up into little pieces and placed in a bigger play.
Right.
Like, spread out in a bigger play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And is there like fun to the complexity of the relationship where it's like maybe the character that Christian was playing like secretly thinks he's above or better than, but like feels so much guilt, and that's the reason why he tries to offer to buy breakfast, and breakfast, like, that thing could become a huge,
Yeah.
you know, such an interesting idea to play with psychologically in there.
I like your funny stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got good comedy.
Yeah.